What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. So a few weeks back now we made a fairly optimistic 5-year plan of having €1 million in 5 years, and we can see on the left here that we have 7 investment vehicles currently that I plan on investing in to get to that 1 million in that 5-year period. Now we can see here point 3 and 4, dividend stocks and ETFs, are the two that we're going to start off with today. So in today's video we're going to go through how I'm setting up these two portfolios. And you can see here in column F, we'll go through the following points. Firstly, we'll discuss how many holdings I want in each of these portfolios. We'll go through how much I want invested in each of these portfolios as well. We'll then, for the dividend portfolio, discuss my average yield I want in terms of dividend payments. We'll go through what sectors I want in these portfolios, what brokers I'm going to use for each of these two investment vehicles, and finally, my initial stocks we're going to start off with. So we have a lot to get through today, so let's get straight on into today's video. Now just 2 points to note here as well before we look at the portfolios. Firstly, once we have the dividend and ETF portfolios kind of laid out over the next few weeks, we'll then start focusing on the growth portfolios, etc. So the next few weeks we will be focusing on these two. And the second point to note is that we're going to be starting very small, as foundation or laying the foundation in any long-term portfolio is vital. So again, there's no rush at all. We'll be slowly inputting stocks into these portfolios over time and slowly upping the amount invested as well. And hopefully with the dividend payments, the compounding effect over time will really make these portfolios take off. Okay, let's start off with the dividend portfolio. Now the broker of choice here is no surprise. The one on screen is Trading212, the broker that I've been using over the last 18 months. Now there's kind of a few reasons why I want to use Trading212 for my dividend portfolio, which we'll discuss very briefly now. And kind of the main ones that come to mind is that the ability to buy fractional shares. This will be very handy for dividend reinvestments, and also the ability to make auto investing, or also you can have pies here as well. Again, this will be very handy to have all your stocks for your dividend portfolio in one place. So they're the kind of two main reasons, and kind of third or fourth reasons as well would be basically that I'm very used to this portfolio or this tracker or broker. So it's kind of very easy just to take off where we left off as well. Now we already have €20.79 already here from dividend payments on my last portfolio. So today we're going to be putting in another €100. Again, I want to start small with that €120 or so, just to kick off the portfolio. Now in a few seconds as well, we'll have a look at what stocks we're actually going to start investing in this portfolio. But first of all now, let's show you how we can actually create this dividend portfolio pie on Trading212. Now, unlike my last investment portfolios, this time around we're going to be using different brokerages for different portfolios. Now, the main reason here is, for example, on Trading212, you're only protected up to €100,000 in case the broker went bust. Now, that's very unlikely, I know, but again, you don't want to be overexposed here. For example, you don't want to have 250,000 in one portfolio where you're only protected up to 100,000 of that. So we're going to be using Trading212 as we discussed for my dividend portfolio. Now, as I said, because you only have 100,000 protection, this first portfolio here, we're going to be targeting €100,000 invested. Now, that's going to be a long way away before we even get to that mark or milestone. But when we do, we will start making a separate portfolio in a different broker as well. Again, just to move out your exposurial risk here as well. So we will be creating a pie here on Trading212, and we're going to call it the dividend portfolio pie. Now, when you're creating a pie, you can have as many investment vehicles as you want, literally any amount at all. So for this portfolio, I'm looking at about 30 stocks overall in my dividend portfolio pie. Now the main reason I want to have 30, now there's no real magic number, there's no correct number as such. Some people might think that's too much, some might think it's too little for a long-term portfolio. But the reason I want to have 30 is because there's 11 overall sectors in the market, so I do want to be exposed in, or I do want to have kind of exposure in each of all of those sectors. So that's kind of the main reason I want 30 as well. So I'd probably have 2 or 3 in each of the 11 sectors, and over time we'll start building this up. But for today's video, we're only going to start putting 3 stocks into this portfolio pie, and over time then we can start adding more. And again, you can put percentages. If you want to auto invest here, you can put percentages. But again, just for the purpose of today, we're not going to be manually investing. We're not going to be using the auto invest feature, so the percentages don't really matter. Okay, now let's briefly look at these 3 stocks we're going to kick off this portfolio with. They're in 3 different sectors, and the first one on screen is Coca-Cola, ticker symbol KO, which is in consumer staples. We can see here it's currently trading about $55.13 per share, and it has a dividend payment annually of 3.05%. Now I do want to have my average overall dividend payments of at least 3% average. So again, this is over the threshold, which I'm happy with. We can also see here it's a dividend aristocrat, and it has increased its dividend payments for a very impressive 59 years in a row, and it pays its dividends quarterly. The second stock we'll be adding in is in the real estate sector in the form of Realty Income, ticker symbol O. It's currently trading at about $70.91. It has a dividend yield of about 4.16%, so I'm very happy with that dividend yield. Again, you can get dividends that pay a lot higher than this, especially in the real estate sector. But again, you don't want to be just chasing high yields because that doesn't really involve consistency either. We can see here that Realty Income has increased its dividend payments for the last 27 years in a row, which again is really impressive. Now, another kind of unique thing about Realty Income is that unlike most dividend stocks, this actually pays a monthly dividend. And the third and final stock we'll be adding into this dividend portfolio today is McDonald's, ticker symbol MCD, which is consumer discretionary. We can see here it's currently trading at $251.95. Now the dividend yield is not the greatest, it's 2.19 at the moment. Now I wouldn't be dropping below 2 for any of the stocks I want to invest in. However, even though this is a dividend portfolio, it's not one of the main reasons why I want McDonald's in this pie. Again, McDonald's has huge potential. A lot of people kind of overlook that it is literally a real estate stock as well because of all of the real estate it has around the globe, and has huge potential. Like everywhere you go, there's a McDonald's. So again, long term, although it's already trading at $250 a share, I still believe there's a lot of potential here. And again, just like the other two stocks that we're starting off with this pie, again, it has another very impressive 45 years of increasing its dividend payments, and it pays quarterly. So I've now created this portfolio. Again, there's only 3 holdings here at the moment in the form of McDonald's, Coca-Cola and Realty Income. But again, over the next few weeks, we will be adding 3 to 5 stocks per video. Now we can see we set the goal here as well of €100,000 for this portfolio pie. So it's going to be very interesting to track this update over the next few weeks, months and even years. Now another important thing to note here as well is the auto reinvest. I have that on. So anytime we get a dividend, it will auto reinvest into that portfolio or stock. Again, which is key for long-term compounding effects of dividend income. Now, as stated earlier, percentages don't really make a difference unless you auto-invest weekly or monthly, which we won't be doing. We'll be manually putting in investments every so often. So again, these percentages don't actually make a difference. Now, we only have 3 here at the moment as well, but I'm really looking forward over time to seeing my dividend payments increase month on month. So that's going to be very interesting to see and show how the compounding or snowball effect actually takes place here as well. Now, as mentioned earlier, I'm going to invest €100 more here later on, and I'll put that €120 into these 3 stocks equally. And again, over the next few weeks, we'll be adding in more stocks. In fact, I'll probably make another video maybe Wednesday or Thursday, adding in another 3 to 5 stocks into this portfolio. Again, earlier as mentioned, I want to have about 30 stocks overall across all different sectors in this dividend portfolio pie. In the next video, I think I'm going to invest in the energy, healthcare, and also the financial sectors, which again will have 6 overall different sectors in the pie at that moment. Now that we kind of just park the dividend portfolio pie for now, because again, there's not much happening here at the moment, but I just wanted to kick it off. Now let's have a look at my ETF portfolio that I want to kick off as well. So in terms of my ETF investment vehicle, we're going to be using DeGiro as the broker of choice here. Now there's kind of 2 main reasons here. The first I mentioned earlier is that again on Trading212, you're only kind of protected up to €100,000, and it's the same here on DeGiro. So again, I didn't really want to have my ETF portfolio as well on Trading212 because that would limit how much I could invest in the dividend one. And the second kind of main reason here as well is because on Trading212, I can't find what ETF I want to invest in my own currency. All I can find is in pounds or USD, whereas here you can actually invest in euro, which again will cut out the FX cost here as well. Now for my ETF, we're going to be keeping it plain and simple. We're going to be investing in the S&P 500 ETF, which tracks the top 500 stocks within the US. Again, it's pretty boring here as such just to invest in that overall ETF. But again, over time, this was really effective investment, as again, it's very hard to beat the market over time. So again, that's why I want to have this ETF on its own, and we're going to use this on DeGiro as well. Now, just like my dividend portfolio, I do want to set a target here to have about €100,000 invested in this ETF as well over the coming years. Again, that would probably be the only investment we're going to have on DeGiro. And then when we actually kick off our growth portfolio, we're actually going to use a separate broker again completely. I'm up for discussion there as well. I have about 2 or 3 different brokers that I'm currently looking at. But again, one of the downfalls here on DeGiro is that you cannot buy fractional shares, which would kind of really implement my investing if I had my dividend portfolio here, because I do like buying fractional shares, and dividend reinvestments as well will be much more effective on Trading212. But again here, because we're buying ETF one standard unit at a time, it's not a lot. It's probably about 70 euros so at the moment for one of these ETFs. So over time this will slowly grow in value, but we'll probably kick this off with just one share or one ETF in this S&P 500 just to kick it off as well. So that's pretty much it for today's video. I just wanted to give you a brief update on where we're at in terms of these investment portfolios. Now, I'm glad we finally kicked off the dividend portfolio. Again, later on, I will be investing that 120 euro into that pie. And also, I'll be kicking off that ETF, the S&P 500 again. We'll be buying that in euro, which you cannot do on Trading212. So we'll be buying that on DeGiro. So once we have those two portfolios kind of kicked off over the next few weeks, again, there's no rush or panic here at all, but once I have what I'm kind of happy with or pleased with, we'll start then looking at my real estate and also growth stock and crypto portfolios as well. So thanks very much if you made it this far. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you all in the next one.